Hey, tell me a bit more, because I was really interested in the stuff on Catholic social teaching, on the economy.
Sure.
Here we go.
Rerum Novarum, the great, fundamental text of the Catholic social teaching tradition, Leo XIII, late 19th century. A text you read even in your atheist period, and you found powerful and naming dynamics in the political order better than many people were left, center, and right.
That's right.
Tell me, what was it exactly that grabbed you about that text?
Well, there are a few things. I mean, one is I was compelled by the fact that it was trying to strike a balance.
Yeah.
And in some ways was very prophetic. I mean, when Rerum Novarum was written, you didn't know where the industrialization trend was going. You could have possibly seen communism, fascism, all these things rising up. And yet, even though that, like Leo XIII doesn't talk about the fascist movement 70 years later, 60 years later, you can kind of see he's very worried about the tumult, and he's very worried that if we don't strike the right balance between human dignity and prosperity, between workers and capital owners, that it's going to inevitably lead to this conflict. So that's one thing that I found profound about it, is just the recognition that the balance really mattered. The other thing that I think is very interesting, and I actually was sort of thinking about Rerum Novarum in the speech that I gave on July 4th. There's this idea that in Marx that the classes have to inevitably be in conflict against each other. And then I think that there's this idea in more traditional libertarian or free market thinking that, there's sort of never any real conflict. And to the extent that it is, it's all a violation of individual rights. Whereas I think what Rerum Novarum is saying is that, yes, conflict can sometimes be an inevitable part of these social changes, but the way to solve the conflict is by cooperating between these different sort of segments of society. And what a statesman should be doing, what somebody who's focused on the common good should be doing, is not pretending that there isn't a problem if you have destitution on the one hand and extreme wealth on the other, but also not pretend that the solution to that is conflict. The powerlessness versus the powerful, and then the powerless sometimes win and the powerful sometimes win. There can be a real compromise. And what, in some ways, the idea of a labor union, there's sort of the classical Marxist understanding of a labor union, which is conflict between the owners and the workers. But in the Catholic view, it's actually not conflict. This is an institution that is meant to give the workers some say, certainly some bargaining power, some anchoring, and there can be a more cooperative arrangement from there. It doesn't always have to be a zero-sum battle of one against the other. And I try to think about that a lot, as how can we gear certain policy outcomes in a way that doesn't ignore the problems that come with destitution, but tries to solve it through cooperation as opposed to conflict.
Oh, I was trying to